Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Can you hear me? Haribol?
We hear you.
Yes, Mataji, we
Yes,
can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. I'm just checking. So we are reading from Canto 11, Chapter 2, verse 43. Itya Chitangring Bhajatan Vidya Bhakti Virakti Bhagavad Pradha Avanti Vai Bhagavatasya Rajans Tataparam Shanti Timopaiti Saksha. My dear King, the devotee who worships the lotus feet of the infallible personality of Godhead with constant endeavor thus achieves unflinching devotion, detachment, and experienced knowledge of the personality of Godhead. In this way, the successful devotee of the Lord achieves supreme spiritual peace. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 271, Vihaya Karmanya Savan Bhumang Sharatinishbiha Nirmama Nirhankara Shanti Matigachati. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who is free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship, who is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. Srila Prabhupada comments, to become desireless means not to desire anything for sense gratification. In other words, desire for becoming Krishna conscious is actually desirelessness. There is a similar statement in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 19:149. Krishna Bhakta Nishkamatta Ishanta Bhakti Mukti Siddhikam Ishakali Yashanta. Because the devotee of Lord Krishna is desireless, he is peaceful. Fruit of workers desire material enjoyment, Gyanis desire liberation, and yogis desire material opulence. Therefore, they are all lusty and cannot be peaceful. Generally, there are three classes of living entities afflicted with selfish desire. These are the Bhuktikami, Muktikami, and Siddhikami. Bhuktikami refers to those ordinary persons who desire money and everything money can buy. Such a primitive mentality is based on desire to enjoy money, sex, and social prestige. When a living being becomes frustrated with this hallucination, he takes to the path of speculative philosophy and analytically tries to track down the source of illusion. Such a person is called Muktikami because he desires to negate material illusion and merge into an impersonal spiritual state free from anxiety. The Muktikami also is motivated by personal desire, although desire is somewhat more elevated. Similarly, the Siddhikami, or mystic yogi, who desires particular powers of mystic yoga, such as reaching one's hand across the world, or making oneself smaller than the smallest, or lighter than the lightest, is also infected by material selfish desire. Therefore, it is said, Sakali Yashanta. If one has any personal desire, whether it be material, philosophical, or mystic, he will be Ashanta, or ultimately frustrated, because he was himself as a central object of satisfaction. This egocentric concept is in itself illusory and therefore ultimately frustrating. On the other hand, Krishna Bhakta Nishkamatta Eva Shanta. C.C. Madhya 19:149. A devotee of Lord Krishna is Nishkama. He has no personal desire. His only desire is to please Krishna. Lord Shiva himself has praised this outstanding quality of the pure devotees of the Lord by stating, Narayana Parasavena Kutashana Vipyate Sargapavaganarkesh Apitulyartadarshina. A person who is devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana is not afraid of anything. Elevation to heavenly kingdom, condemnation to hell, and liberation from material bondage all appear the same to devotee, SB 6:17-28. Although the impersonalist philosopher proposes that everything is one, devotee of the Lord is actually Tulyartadarshi, or empowered with a vision of oneness. The devotee sees everything as potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore desires to engage everything in service of the Lord for the Lord's satisfaction. Since the devotee does not see anything as dvitiya or outside the scope of the Lord's potency, he is happy in any situation, having no personal desire. Devotee of Krishna is actually Shanta or peaceful because he has achieved perfection of life, love of Krishna. He's actually situated his eternal constitutional position under direct shelter and protection of the omnipotent Parameshwara Krishna. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, this verse ends the answer given by the first of 9 Yoganjas, Kavi, to Maharaj Nimi's first question, what is the highest good? Mukam karati vachalam mangam langateginim yakibantaham bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Om Gana Timarandasya Gananjara Shalakaya Chakshivinitam Yena Tasamai Sri Gurave Namaha. So in the fourth canto, 22nd chapter, verse 39, Prithu, not Prithu, but the four Kumars, they describe the devotees, which are described in this verse, this desireless devotees, and the desireless devotees. Who are they? They're always engaged in service of the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord. And if they do that, they can very easily overcome hard, knotted desires for fruitive activities. So these other people are not peaceful because they have all these desires. Because this is very difficult, the non-devotees, gyanis, and yogis, although trying to stop the waves of sense gratification, cannot do so. Therefore, you are advised to engage in devotional service of Krishna, son of Vasudeva. So if we serve Krishna, we can become free from material desires. Of course, we will still have spiritual desires. And so that's really cool. Prabhupada says, there are 3 kinds of transcendentalists trying to overcome influence of the modes of nature. Gyanis, yogis, and bhaktas. All of them attempt to overcome influence of senses, which is compared to incessant waves of a river. So you see a river, so many waves always coming and going, and this is compared to material desires. You see a river with a lot of waves. Those waves are material desires. The waves of a river flow incessantly. It's very difficult to stop them. Similarly, the waves of desire for material enjoyment are so strong they cannot be stopped by any process other than bhakti yoga. The bhaktas, by the transcendental devotional service to the lotus feet of the Lord, become so overwhelmed with transcendental bliss that automatically their desires for material enjoyment stop. Yeah, so you follow fragrant principles and chant your 16 rounds, and yes, you will see the desires change, actually. You get desires for devotional service. The Gyanis and Yogis, not attached to lotus feet of the Lord, simply struggle against the waves of desire. They're described as riktamatya, devoid of devotional service. So the Gyanis and Yogis trying to be free from desires and material activities become more and more entangled in false philosophical speculation or strenuous attempts to stop, as the yogis, activities of the senses. Bhajavasudeva indicates one who is engaged in loving service of Krishna can very easily stop the waves of desires. As long as one continues to try to artificially stop the waves of desires, he will certainly be defeated. So then Prabhupada gives a question here, maybe argued. The waves of a river are incessantly flowing and they cannot be stopped, but the waves of the river flow toward the sea. When the tide comes over the river, it overwhelms the flowing of the river, and the river itself becomes overflooded, and the waves from the sea become more prominent than the waves from the river. Similarly, the devotee with intelligence plans so many things for service of the Lord and Krishna consciousness that stagnant material desires become overflooded by the desire to serve the Lord. I had personal experience of this when I was living in Goa, India. We went to swim right near the ocean where a river was going into the ocean. So we were swimming, and the water was very sweet. But then the tide from the ocean started to come in, and it started flowing backwards. It started flowing backwards, and then actually the water became salty. It changed from sweet to salty. So that's what happens. So of course, when we do devotional service, we can forget our material desires by being absorbed in serving Krishna. So why do devotees sacrifice everything for Krishna? Devotee sees here in the purport says, the devotee sees everything as potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore desires to engage everything in service of the Lord for the Lord's satisfaction. And so, yes, if we go to Bhagavad Gita, it will explain why devotees want to serve the Lord. So Bhagavad Gita 10:8, it says, Aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam prabhātate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. So this is that everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So if you believe 100% everything's coming from Krishna, then how will you behave? This is a principle of our Shastras. Everything comes from Krishna. And he's the source of everything, spiritual, material worlds. So if you know this, how will you behave? The verse, second half, it says, the wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So why did they do this? Why do they worship Krishna? Well, how do they worship? That is by sacrifice. They sacrifice their lives, first of all, but also they offer sacrifice. Krishna tells us what he wants in Gita, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. Give me a leaf, a flower, fruit, and water. And these things we find are on the universal form of the Lord. They're from the Lord's own body. And the hairs on his body are the cause of vegetation. So this every herb, plant, tree has a purpose in the universal form, has a service. So during the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira, the clouds showered all the water needed. The earth produced all necessities of man in profusion. And the cow was moisturing the ground, the trees, the rivers, the oceans, the hills, the mountains, forests, creepers, and active jugs paid their tax quota to the king in profusion. Can you imagine? They were also citizens, the trees, the herbs, the ocean, the hills, the mountains. They're also citizens. They're praja, not only the people, not only the human beings. The animals are also citizens. And the trees are citizens. Can you believe it? The Prabhupada was particularly protective of the trees. He really loved the trees. So they all have a purpose, but we just don't know the purpose, so we think they're useless. We used to think that this dandelion is a weed, but now it's shown to cure cancer and liver, help the liver, so many things. We just didn't know about it. But all these weeds have a function. They have a service. We just don't know how to use it. So Prabhupada said still in remote villages in the forest, they don't come to doctors. They know so many what the weeds can do for you. He said for toothache, we go to the dentist, they take out the teeth. And he said, I've read in Ayurvedic medicine, there is a drug, a root. If you touch this to the side of the mouth, all the germs within the teeth will come out. And he says, I got experience. 1931 or 32, I had a very severe toothache. Went to so many dentists, and they couldn't help. And so then his servant took him to an Ayurvedic doctor in the forest, and they cured Prabhupada. His toothache. They didn't have to take out the teeth either. So yes, this is, yeah, the people who live in the forest, they know all these remedies. So the river, it has a purpose. It gives us pure water, but of course there is no pure water these days. But in the previous ages, it was pure. We didn't contaminate with all our chemicals. And then it was pumped up, just like in the rainy season. The river goes to the ocean and it's distilled by the sun. It goes into the clouds, then it rains on the mountains and it comes down. So in India, we have these tanks and we get the water and put up into the tanks. And when we need it, it comes down. So everything is meant for supplying our necessities, actually. But if you're disobedient, you're demons, you'll get floods. You'll get drought. How can you control nature? Sri Prabhupada said that he quoted some 14, Mam eviye prapadyante mayam etam taranti te, that if you surrender to Krishna, then you can overcome Maya. He said he was born in 1896, and he said in Calcutta in 98 or 1900, there was a huge plague. Plague was going, everyone was dying, leaving Calcutta. He said, so when Babaji organized Harinam Sankirtan, and everyone joined, Christian, Muslim, Parsi, they were going house to house and chanting. And he said, then the plague stopped. We should use this in case there's another pandemic. We can try Harinam Sankirtan. And so Prabhupada said he was dancing. He was very small, up to the knees of everyone, but he was dancing. And so, yes, this is Krishna's property, and from him are coming all these abilities to cure. And if we're Krishna conscious, then he says, the river will serve you, the hills will serve you, you have minerals, the mountains will serve you, the ocean will serve you, the forest will serve you, and the vegetables. And the animals will serve you, and everyone will serve you. And so it's just like in our body, we have cells. And if the cells are healthy, then our body is healthy. So in the universal form, we are one of those cells. But if we fight, then then it will be very difficult. The world will be unhealthy, the universal form. And so that's why we need to use everything we see in this world for Krishna's satisfaction. The impersonalist wrongly concludes that I am God. But the personalist, Prabhupada says, this is in one purport, that the person sees, no, this belongs to Krishna, and we are grateful. Oh, Krishna, thank you. Thank you for giving me these things so I can live nicely. So we should offer things to Krishna out of gratitude. We should be grateful. And Prabhupada says in a purport, I believe in Bhagavad Gita, when human society is grateful to the Lord for all his gifts for maintenance of living entities, there is certainly no scarcity or want in society. But when men are unaware of the intrinsic value of such gifts from the Lord, surely they are in want. So, okay, so we should first of all offer to Krishna out of gratitude. Thank you, Krishna. And also, Krishna is not hungry, he's not poor, doesn't need our opulence, he doesn't need our food. But he wants the one thing we're not giving, and that is our love. Bhaktya. Bhaktya. Just like, and when we give something to Krishna out of love, then Krishna is very pleased. So I remember when I had my son Govinda, he was 5 months old, little baby. He had to eat grains early because he was a very big baby. So he got grains from the 4th month. And so I was feeding him porridge in the morning, put the spoon in the porridge, and then take out some porridge and put it in his mouth. So one fine day, this 5-month-old baby took the spoon from my hand, stuck it in the porridge, and stuck it in my mouth. I'm so happy. Oh, he loves me. So Krishna is like that. The things are not so valuable, but our love is valuable, and that's what he accepts. And so he's not looking so much what we give, but how. What is our attitude? What is our intention? So the pure devotee understands everything belongs to Krishna, not only Krishna, but to Krishna's devotees. Yeah, Prabhupada, one time devotee said, oh, and he was in some airport, and the devotee said, yeah, one day we will have our own airport in Mayapur. And Prabhupada said, what, he was in some foreign airport. He said, this is also our airport too. And so Prabhupada, all the airports belong to Prabhupada. So Prita Maharaj, after hearing from the Kumaras, he wanted to offer some dakshina, something to them, but he said, all I possess are the remnants of your food. You're the brahmanas. The food taken by great saintly persons, what can I give you? It's all yours. So, out of love, devotee gives whatever he has to Krishna. Sudama Vipra gave a little chipped rice and got an opulent palace. And so in the 10th canto, 22nd chapter, verse 35, it's described how we can give to Krishna. And the verse says, every living entity should serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his prana, life, artha, wealth, dhiya, intelligence, and vacha, words. This is itava jamasafa yam dehinam nadehishu pranarata dhiavacha shaya acharnam sada. So first, best is if you give your life. And if you cannot do that, give some money. My son, he's a businessman now, and he sees me that I never worked my whole life. I mean, before I joined a little bit, I did. But since I joined in 1970, I never really had a job. But now I'm flying the whole world, and I have a place to stay in Vrindavan for free. I have a place to stay in America for free. My son builds tiny houses, so I got one. And I'm traveling the world. And my son was very impressed. Hey, you never worked and you're traveling the world. How do you do it? So anyway, yeah, because he really appreciates how he can manage. So you should give your life. If you can't do that, okay, Arta, and you can give a donation. And if you can't do that, give your intelligence. You can plan something. And if you think you're not so intelligent, you can give your words, your vacha. So the preacher, he sees all the entities parts of Krishna, but they're not offering themselves in service. And so the preacher, he tries to offer people to Krishna. He tries to engage everyone in Krishna's service. So Prabhupada had that vision. He engaged all of us, rich and poor. Some of us had nothing to give to Krishna, and others did. Jayananda gave his savings to Srila Prabhupada to print Nectar Devotion. Ramananda gave his life savings when he joined, about $5,000. So he gave Prabhupada a check. And then he asked, could I have your 3-volume set of Bhagavatam? And Prabhupada said, that will be extra. So Brahmananda said to get that $16 was harder than getting the $5,000 because now he was a brahmachari, he had no money. So we should offer out of love, gratitude, and out of friendship. There's a verse nectar of instruction, dadati patiginati pati ginani vachati guyam akyati pachati punkti bojate chava savitam piti lakshanam. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasadam, and offering prasadam are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. In 1966, 1966, actually, Prabhupada gave a lecture on this verse, Nectar Instruction. He said, we should do these 6 ways of relationship with Krishna. So yes, we want to make friendship with Krishna. If you see when you go to see somebody great, you want to make some connection and introduce yourself in a loving manner. So if we want to go back to Godhead, we have to prepare ourselves how to love Krishna. 6 kinds of loving exchanges. And so we have to deal with Krishna in this way. So how to love Krishna? Prabhupada said, you have to practice. You have to get up early. You don't like to, but you think, oh, I'll get up early to satisfy Krishna. Then, oh, I have to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra on my beads. You may be lazy. You may not want to do it, but if you want to love Krishna, you must do it. So in the beginning, you have to learn how to love Krishna. So he said, it's just like if you love a girl, if you love a girl, you give her a flower or something. This is one of the 6 exchanges of love. Give a gift and accept a gift. So we give gifts to Krishna, we accept. We give fruits, flowers, food, we accept prasadam. And we disclose our mind when we pray to Krishna. And he answers. And when I joined 1970 in Boston, every one of us had to go up in front of the deities, and we had to tell Krishna all our problems and what service did we do for the week. We had to report. And then we prayed, and if we had some difficulty, then we would ask Krishna for help. And so he would help us. So prayer means we reveal our mind, and Krishna gives us answers. And so in London, in one airport arrival press conference, everyone bowed down to Srila Prabhupada. The reporter was not so happy, and he asked, "Do you think you are God?" Prabhupada said, "Spiritual master should be given all respects as God. But if he thinks he's God, then he is dog." Okay. So in Gita 263 purport, Prabhupada says, for example, an impersonalist, being impersonal, cannot eat. Whereas an impersonalist tries to avoid good eatables, the devotee knows Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and he eats all offered to Krishna. So what is the best sacrificial offering? If you scrutinize Srimati Radharani's lotus feet, you will find one sacrificial altar on her lotus feet. So there's 3 meanings here of this mark. First meaning, the sins of those who meditate on her feet are burned up, as if on the altar of sacrifice. Second meaning of the mark on sacrificial altar on Radharani's lotus feet. Just as the universe is nourished by Brahmanas offering fire sacrifices, similarly, those who offer their minds in sacrifice to their feet stimulate universal nourishment that affects all of creation. So if we just think of Krishna, that nourishes the universe. Can you believe it? And the meaning I like the most of this mark on Radharani's lotus feet, the universe is the form of Krishna. So whatever we see is Krishna, is universal form. And the offering is the form of Radharani. So when we offer something to Krishna, then we are uniting Radha and Krishna on sacrificial altar. And so the best, how do we offer our mind? In sacrifice, we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, yes, devotional. This process is devotional service. When I was doing deity worship in Calcutta, Srila Prabhupada said that all this deity worship is under the direction of Radharani. So that's Diving Prakriti Ashita. In active devotion, first chapter, Prabhupada says, to perform devotional service means to follow in the footsteps of Radharani. Devotees in Vrindavan put themselves under the care of Radharani in order to achieve perfection. In their devotional service is not an activity of the material world. is directly under the control of Srimati Radharani. The Gita is confirmed Mahatmas, great souls, are under the protection of Daivin Prakritim. So that's the Gita verse, ninth chapter. I believe it's verse 13, 9:13. So this attracts Krishna because it's under the control of Radharani. And Radharani attracts Krishna. When we do service, we can also attract Krishna through Radharani. So beginning of the Bhagavatam, the sage from 9 Sharanya had a realization. Well, performing their fire sacrifice. So they said, first canto, 18th chapter, verse 12, we've just begun performance of this fruitive activity, sacrificial fire, without certainty of its result due to the many imperfections in our action. They're trying to do a 1,000-year sacrifice. Can you imagine? Our bodies have become black from the smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of lotus feet of personality of God Govinda, which you are distributing. So this is a sacrifice. Kirtanya Sarahari Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. It's not a fire sacrifice that we must do to satisfy Krishna. That's difficult. But we have to sacrifice our ears, our tongue, our minds, our heart. And association with Radha Krishna in the form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So I'll stop here. If you have any questions, comments, you can ask at this point.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me okay?
Hare Krishna.
Good
Yeah,
good morning. So nice to see you. Where are you right now? Where are you?
right now I'm in Vrindavan.
Oh, wow.
Vrindavan.
Okay, we hope you come and visit us in New York. So, one of the interesting things in your class,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned about your son, wondering, how do you
Oh,
travel?
yeah.
How do you travel all over the world? You have no job, right? And it actually a
Yeah, yeah. He's a businessman. He doesn't have the money. And I don't work and I have it.
But what your mentioning of that points out is if we accept this request that Krishna and Srila Prabhupada have offered to us, preach. Jesus told his disciples, don't
Mm-hmm.
worry about where you're going to sleep, don't worry about what you're going to eat, don't worry about what you're going to wear, don't bring a bag of money,
Yeah,
preach.
exactly.
And they have this in London, they have this what do you call it? It's like a Bible school, like a for ministers, right? And I can't remember the name of these one
Mm-hmm.
preachers. He said that you go to the school, and then at any time, the professor will go, you and you, go. And they give them each £5, go north. And they have to go right from their seat to the door of the building and go out with nothing. And they can't come back for a month, right? And they're like, and it's like a plot. It's just not something in a book. They're actually saying, if you go out with the intention of giving consciousness to others, the Lord will sustain you. And that's the best thing we can learn, that. But if we just try to give Krishna consciousness to others, you're talking about you want to please Krishna, you want to please Krishna. What's the best thing? Krishna says, no one is more dear to me than one who gives this to others. So by whatever means we've got, it may be humble, it may seem like there's an extravagant result or very little result, but if our intention is, Lord, Prabhupada said, if you want to thank me, what did he say?
You preach and distribute books.
Thank me. Give what I gave to you to someone else.
Yeah.
And it's the most pleasing to Krishna. But it doesn't make any material sense.
No, no.
Just
Um,
you're
the
going.
spiritual energy is much higher than the material energy, so you can't figure it out. There's no logic. to it.
So it's believing that this is what we're supposed to do, and then in some way try to do it. And we've seen this in our
Yeah, it actually happened in my life. I was getting little income from VIH, and all of a sudden they just stopped it. So I had no income, and I didn't have money much. So I said, okay, Krishna, what is the message? What are you trying to tell me? And I understood. I got the message: get out of Vrindavan and preach. And as soon as I did that, then I don't have to worry for money. Before I was worried. Before that, he was taking care of me. Enough. It was enough, but not extra. And now, and somebody even asked me once in yes, he said, so now you're 50, how you're 50 years old. What's going to happen in your old age? And I said, well, Krishna's taking care of me now. He'll take care of me when I'm old too. And he is. Just say, who can travel the world? Oh, like that. Australia, Europe, America. Yeah.
wonderful.
If you don't have an income. So yeah, you have to have faith. And so I gave my prana, I gave my life, and I'm still giving. And so then it works. It really works.
This was 10 or 15 years ago. My mother said to me, Adi, why don't you get a job? Why don't you get a real job? Your sister's husband, he works for the telephone
Yeah,
company, the big company. He's
yeah,
got a retirement plan, and what are you going to do? You're going to get old, and you haven't had a check in 40 years. Now it's been 53 years. I haven't had a paycheck. I've been working for Prabhupada 20.
right.
And I said to my mother, Mom, I'm working for
Yeah.
God. He's not going out of business, right? It's the same, and but people look at you like
Right,
crazy,
right.
and it doesn't, how are you going to sustain yourself? And then there's that thing in the Bible about the lilies of the field, they sow not, right? They don't have, but
Mm-hmm.
Solomon in all his splendor hath not finer raiment, right? The birds of the air, they're sustained. And somehow
Uh-huh.
Prabhupada came in, he said, on the Jaludut, he said, I am an insignificant beggar. He didn't have money, he didn't have any
Right.
support, he didn't have helpers,
Yeah.
but he came because he knew my guru
Mm-hmm.
asked me to go in this direction and preach. And everything else is there.
Thing is,
I can't, I'm hearing this and I'm trying to preach to myself so I can remember this because it's so easy to fall back and, oh my God, what am I going to do? But Krishna, if we're preaching, if we're trying with whatever we've got to offer Krishna
mm,
consciousness to others, somehow or other, Krishna sustains us. Tell us stories. Tell us how miraculous.
that example you gave, yeah. I just want to add that the story you told about the, what is it, the Bible school or whatever, minister school. Prabhupada did the same thing. What happened is we were 1 year in Krishna consciousness, and after 1 year, they sent us somewhere to start a new temple. No money, nothing, and nothing, And we even had to go out of India to get a new visa with no money. I mean, they gave us a one-way ticket. We went to Burma in those days, which was communist, and we were American. And we had 1 week. If we didn't get out of there in 1 week, we would be put in jail. So we had to destroy our passport, get a new passport, because without a new passport, we would not get a new visa. We had to destroy our passport, put it in the wash, go to the American embassy, get a new passport, go to the Indian embassy, get a new visa, and also collect money for a ticket back to India. And we were the first devotees to go to Burma. And the Indians were so wonderful. 3 times a day we were fed. We had a place we didn't we all we had was a phone number. We called the phone number, and the man said, "Okay, you can stay in my shop in the loft," and that's where we lived for 1 week. Oh, Krishna! So that was happening to us all the time. It's just the same with the devotees. The grihastas Prabhupada sent to London. They had hardly any money, and they anyway. So that's how that was the system in the 70s, in the early 70s. You stay for a year, you learn how to cook, how to preach, give lectures, how to distribute, and out you go. And start a new temple with no money. We did that. Anyway, my husband and I. Yeah, so yeah, now it's not like that.
In 1973, I went to the Brooklyn Temple on Henry Street. I had been reading
Yeah.
books. I didn't know anything really. I was chanting just because I got that mantra from the book. And it was my first experience in the temple. I went to the morning program, 4 o'clock in the morning. There were like 200, 250 devotees in Mongol Arctic at 4 o'clock in the morning in the temple. And I was
Yeah.
so impressed with the kirtan. I think Ridha Nandamars gave a class. And the kirtan and the class and the deities and the fact that everybody was there taking time for worship and prayer. And then, after breakfast prasadam, which was outrageously wonderful, then everybody goes out. Everybody. They go out the door, they close the door, turn off the lights, turn off the heat, and everybody goes out at 8 o'clock. They do a book table, or they do Harinam, or they do direct book distribution, but you have to go out. And I thought, oh, I'm not going to do that. I don't like this proselytizing thing, you know. So they would go out, and then you couldn't come back till 5 o'clock. So in those days, the subway was 35 cents. So they would give everybody 35 cents,
Uh-huh.
like you say, one-way ticket. But Varshana Swami, Varshana Swami from Vrindavan, do you know Varshana?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he told me he was there,
Yes.
and they would give everybody 35 cents, but he said they would give me 70 cents because all day I wouldn't collect enough to come back if he didn't give me two-way subway there. But the point was, they just went out
Oh,
in
yeah.
empty-handed and went and did what they could do, and then came back at night. And I mean, it's you hear about this,
Yeah.
and it seems like, well, that's weird. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't make sense. But well, we've seen it, and it works. And Krishna,
Well,
what?
1970, when I joined, we were 10 hours on Harinam every day,
Yeah.
except Sunday. There would be Sunday feast.
Anyway, the
Yeah.
devotees are still doing
That's
it.
what that was the mhm. That
But
was our sadhana, 10 hours a day Harinam. And it was wonderful.
we hear
Couldn't do it now. My
we
body's finished, but
hear the principle, and we have to hear it again and again because this is the reality of the situation. And
mhm,
I'm not maintained by my endeavor. And then we have to be willing to be in an impoverished condition or in a palace or, just accept whatever Krishna sends. And but endeavor to preach. You got to endeavor. We have to give it. If we don't give it, we're not going to get it. And it's a very, very simple idea, but it's so
mhm.
radical and illogical that in order to fix it in the mind, we have to hear it again and
Mhm.
again. I'm sorry to talk so long. Please go on. Tell us more stories about how you've seen this with your own
Well,
eyes.
it's 8 o'clock. I mean, I think it's 8 o'clock now
It's going
at
to be
your New
after
York.
after greeting the deities. We call it
So
an interval.
that means it's and
Interactive.
yes, time for greeting ditches.
Please stay. Please hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. We love you.
Hare Krishna.
You are a warrior, courageous,
Thank you.
and setting an example for us, fallen souls.
I'm just trying. I'm just trying. We'll see. I'm trying to do what I can do and until I can't do. Yeah.
Prabhupada's grace is manifest in you.
Hare Krishna.
You're a miracle.
Well, that's what I'm living on, his mercy. I'm living on his mercy, yes.
Yeah.
That
Well,
is
Prabhupada would
sustaining me,
forget
yes,
it.
you're correct.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. All glories to Prabhupada.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Oops. Oh, glories Prabhupada.
Hmm.
Jai Shishirana Murli Dar Gaur Chandra Bhagavan Hari Purusham Swami Govinda Hari Purusham Anganiyasya Sakalam Priyaprimanti Anachimaya Sadhu Valamilasa Govinda Hari Purusham Govinda Hari Purusham Govinda Hari Purusham Hari Purusham Govindam Hari Purusham Jai Shishirada Muralidhar Gaur Chandra Bhagavan Ki Jai Jyotirada Muralidhar Nishigade Bhagavan Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can obtain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of liberty. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desire. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic frame that emanates, and by him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us, and give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter at your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Jai Nitai Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Narayani Devi left. It was a wonderful class. Gives so much faith hearing from such devotees. Would anyone like to speak? Jamuna Jaya, Queen of Smiles.
Hey, Bob. Yeah, such a wonderful class. She's just so clear, and Adi's right. It's like she is a warrior, and it's so wonderful that we have these associations with people like that. And I do wish she would able to stay on it. I'm like you, Adi. Tell us more. Tell us more stories. I'd love to hear it. But I put in the chat. I loved her analogy of that we are like Krishna's cells. That really struck me. And like when cells turn against each other, it's called the autoimmune disease. It's like MS and lupus and all these other diseases. And I was thinking, like, oh my God, when we fight against each other, we can't make Krishna sick, but you know what I mean? It's as if we were doing that. It's like when the cells attack each other in the body. And I felt that was such a good analogy to know that each cell has its own particular purpose. And when it doesn't do its own particular purpose, it becomes a cancer. And so that if we're not doing our own particular purpose, we're becoming like a cancer for Krishna, which of course it won't kill Krishna. It won't even convince him, but you know what I mean? We're becoming such an inconvenience to God. And so I really loved how she put that. And I just this sense of desirelessness, except for anything except for devotional service is such a high bar, but it makes so much sense. Not for me, not to do the party trick of the Ashtanga yogi, not for liberation, which every text is like liberation is like being in a white room all by yourself and no relationship, no joy, no expansion, no God. So she speaks so clearly. It just made all those things so clear today. So, Hare Krishna. I can't hear you, Anandi. I don't know, it's just me.
I'm
I
sorry.
can't hear him either. But now I
I
can
noted
hear.
that too, the clarity of her presentation, the clarity, the faith, the joy, conviction.
And she's living it. She's living it.
I couldn't hear that. Something weird going on with my phone. Okay. Could you say it again, Adipusha Prabhu? Did you say I love you? I'm sorry.
I heard him say she's living it. That's what I heard Eddie
She's meaning
Pushpa
it.
say.
Thank you, Devaki
But he
Preeti.
also loves me.
Anyone else? Anyone else try and live in it? How is it working out for you?
I'm trying to live it.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. So many ways to serve Krishna. I received the grace from my spiritual master who received it from Srila Prabhupada. And I was realizing this week, I think I'm on day 10 of a water fast. So I have lots of clarity and ideas. But I was realizing this week that I learned all the devotional arts. My Guru Maharaj used to say when I lived in the temple that I was signed up to go to college, and then I was having too much fun in the summer that I decided not to. Um, and I learned all the devotional art, liberal arts of the devotional arts. So I feel really blessed. It's not that I can do any of them perfectly or anything, but yeah, so many things you can do for Krishna. And
Did you learn the bird language?
I could be the bird that sees Shishi Radhamurli Dar and share with you, Chandra, how they're looking today.
Please.
I did notice today that Chandra and Radha Murli and Murlidhar, they have turbans that are exactly matching but flipped. So on their underlayer of turban, Gaurachandra has blue on the left and red on the right. And then Muralidhar has red on the left and blue on the right for the underneath. But this wonderful, Narayani was talking about deity worship as an expression, I think, of Radharani's love. These turbans, they match the garlands like so exquisitely that even though their lordships are wearing this amazing blue, this blue, I wouldn't even be able to describe this blue because it's not aqua and it's like a dusty, it's dark, but it's magical, a magical blue. And Gaurachandra, he's got so many necklaces on. He's got so much silver on his neck. Like, if you saw him dancing down the street, he would definitely, like, his bling would be shining. It would be such a glare that you would be blinded. Could you imagine if we took him on the back of an elephant down First Avenue? It'd be so amazing. And yeah, Muralidhar, he's got this one particular pujari. She does this a lot. Like the necklaces are lined up to an angle with the garland. And he also has a white butterfly on his elbow. And Radharani is giving so much grace to us. She's also kind of dancing. Her garland is a little to her left. And she's got not just a tika, but she's got the wonderful chains hanging from the tika and a beautiful silver crown bedecked on her head. And her bouquet is extra large today. They stuck, a couple of extra flowers in case she wants to tease her beloved Krishna. And she might be giving a signal to where to meet her because she's also wearing a silver nose ring that connects to her earring. So maybe she wants Muralidhar to meet her tonight at the silver banks of the Yamuna. Hare Krishna.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Krishna Kumar. Wow. I love hearing you describe about the DBs.
Today we have our ox training, and it's like some wonderful Krishna miracle because I was going to cancel it. I was like, who's going to come? I mean, Keshi Mardan is coming all the way from Gita Nagari. He's already here. He's staying at a friend's home, a friend of mine who's hosting him. And we've got such a full schedule of people who have volunteered. Just yesterday, somebody saw a flyer at the farm store. And a lot of people, they're feeling like they need this karma yoga. These aren't Gaudiya Vaishnavas, or that they have a calling to work with ox. So I'm hoping that these people that come to the training will also want to work with Madhu weekly. It's going to be really ecstatic. Yeah, I'm bringing some chai and cornbread, and I'm hoping to have a lot of fun today. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna Kumari. Annabelle, did you enjoy the summary of Darshan? Thank you. Okay. Isaiah, Annabelle, would you like to contribute to class? Yes. By loudly chanting Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Thank you very much for your association, for your realization, and for the inspiration. Happy Saturday, dear devotees. Thank you. We love you. We need you. Come again tomorrow and sacrifice your ears to Srila Prabhupada's morning program. It's worth it. The process works. I'm seeing a butterfly on the top of Adipusha Prabhu's head. Do you see it too, Devaki Priti? Okay, Hare Krishna.